What's going on, everyone? It's Mike back again. Everton have lost 1-0 to Arsenal. I'm not going to tell you anything new. I mean, you all watched the game. You know how poor we were. It was very obvious that Dyche had set up not to lose. He'd set up to soak pressure. He knew Arsenal would have lots of possession, which it was staggering. So in the first half, his game plan kind of worked. There was an offside goal. And Nketiah, I think it was offside, but it was a good finish by Martinelli. He kills it round Pickford, makes it 1-0, but it's disallowed because Nketiah was coming back from an offside position when the ball was kicked, blah, blah, blah. You can argue there should have been a penalty. Decore sort of gets nudged over as he's going in the box. I mean, I've definitely seen them given, but it's Everton, so I sort of sit there now and just don't expect them. But the game was turgid. It was poor. The biggest concern for me, and this might sound stupid, but it's the most obvious. It's just the lack of ability. Like, these footballers, right? So Danjuma, for example, I think he cost or was valued at Villarreal for 33 million. And I think, you look at the whole team, and Onana, 38 million. People are talking about 50, 60 million to sell him. Garner Guy's played for PSG. Decore's played in the Premier League for a long time now. Yet, Mikalenko, Tarkowski. I mean, I'm naming all of them. I'm not just digging out anyone in particular, but there's just a lack of ability to keep hold of the ball and make simple passes. Arsenal today, they came to Goodison Park. They looked like they were fleet-footed. They could move the ball. They could play in triangles. They just passed around Everton, and Everton just don't have the ability to do that. We look like a championship football side. Back 8-9 years ago, you had Everton playing in triangles. We could match up to these teams, but we're nowhere near it like we are. It's quite scary because I thought we should have got relegated last season. I've said it tons of times. I felt that Leeds and Leicester both had better squads and better footballers than Everton. But we just don't have a brain. We don't have any composure. We don't have anyone who can unlock anything. And I'm not talking in any area. I'm not even talking in just attacking senses. I'm talking anywhere. There is nobody that can simply trap a ball and play a 1-2. There's nobody that can get a ball, make that pass, make a run, get another pass, make another pass, make another. It's like common sense football. The longest passage of play is Everton passing the ball around the back. It's awful. It's. I've never seen it so bad, and I mean that. I mean, even under Lampard, at times I can sit here and say, I couldn't see a plan, but I could see that there was an intensity to the play, or he'd sort of go gung-ho for the first 10, 15 minutes, but then we'd end up conceding and then we'd lose the game. I knew what he was trying to do in that sense. Dyche today, in that second half, he basically just said to Arsenal, much of the same, keep going, and eventually you'll score, because we're not going to change anything. So you learn and you adapt, because that's what clever footballers do. They adapt. They get a ball and they get tackled in one area of the pitch and they go, right, I know what's going to happen the next time that happens. Next time I get the ball in that area, he's going to tackle me. So I'll tell you what, I'm going to take 5 yards that way. So he has to rush in to that tackle. So they either get a foul or he gets that ball, gets that 1-2, and he goes in behind the other player. It's very simple. It's very simple. It's what people do in situations. If something doesn't work, they change it. And it's like this is mind-blowing stuff. for this Everton team. This is just in life, everyone. This is in life. If something is not working, the only way of changing that situation is to change it. And I mean that from a management style, I mean that from a creative style, but I also mean simply just by passing the ball. If that option is not on because a player's having a fantastic game, look at another option. You've got another 10 players on a football pitch. If one's out, you've got another 9. I sat there today and I was confused. I thought Mykolenko did okay up against Saka, and I just struggle. I don't think Ashley Young should be on deliveries. Ashley Young, 10 years ago, had a sensational deliverer. He did. It's what got him a move to Manchester United from Aston Villa. It's what got him a move from Watford to Villa. He always had a ability to score free kicks, and it's gone. Look at that, he's gone. And look, fair enough, he's 38 years old, but there's just nothing. Like, there's nothing. There's no cleverness, no ability, and every time you look at someone, there's no pace. This Everton team, they need millions to strengthen them, and they need an ideology. They need a manager that's going to set them up to try and get something. Because today, Dyche did set them up to get a point. He set them up to get a point and to get a corner and score a corner. But every time we got the ball, Beto was completely isolated and no one was supporting him. So how is he going to do that? How is he going to do? Are you expecting to pass him the ball on the halfway line and him try and skin an entire Arsenal defence? You know, an Arsenal defence that, by the way, almost won the league last season. And look, we beat Arsenal last season, but it was from a corner. And you're not even supporting him enough to get enough corners. And then what was worse is he got bought off. So in a perfect opportunity to go, do you know what? We're getting out running midfield anyway. We'll just go long. We'll stick 2 up front. And I tell you what, we'll stick James Garner in there because there's someone who can, one, retain the ball, one, pass forward, and you've got 2 strikers to aim for. He doesn't do it. He doesn't. I sat there and I thought, what are you doing the moment Beto come off? I couldn't believe it. And then when Calvert-Lewin come on, and look, this is a player that has had knock after knock after knock, both physically, mentally. You know, I get it. I absolutely get it. Like, he doesn't want to put his body on the line, yet he's still jumping into challenges. It's like he's reluctantly scared to get hurt, knowing he is going to get hurt. It's a bad place. But today, when he come on, I sat there and thought, him and Beto together, I'd be quite excited to see that. And then, of course, we go 1-0 down, and the only option he's got is he brings on Chamiti. When I'm sitting there thinking, Lewis Dobbin, right, really impressed me in pre-season. He's impressed me in a lot of games that he's played. Look, he had a rough time away at Aston Villa. I ain't criticising him for that. I'm not criticising Lewis Dobbin for that at all, right? And I sat there and I thought, why have you done that? Look, what? I don't understand what is going on. The tactics, the substitutions are a minefield to me. And look, whether you agree or disagree with what Sean Dyche is doing, it doesn't matter. But to me personally today, I would have thought having a young 19-year-old coming on, or 20-year-old coming on with real pace to get him behind the fullback, bit of skill, not scared to shoot, would have been a good option to come on at 70 minutes. I thought keeping Beto on the pitch and bringing Calvert-Lewin on for whoever. I'm not bothered. Any of the midfielders could have come on today. I wouldn't have been bothered. To be honest, you could have took all 3 of them off and just not bothered. Just let Arsenal have that space in the middle. Because today, I thought they were all shocking. Decore, when he's running with the ball, reminds me of a man running with flippers on his feet. He just doesn't have a touch in that sense. He doesn't have that ability to sort of rotate his feet. So he's gliding with the ball. And you've got a Nana who can do that, but yet goes missing. And then the Drissagana guy, it's just age catching up with it. I mean, this Everton team is an absolute joke. And it's the younger players I feel sorry for. It's Branthwaite, Dobbin, Beto coming in. I feel sorry for them. This Everton team, 6 games, 3 1-0 defeats at home. Or is it 6 games, 2 games? Whatever it is, it's just not good. It's not good. We're away at Brentford next week. Dyche has come out and said, it's about how many points we can get in the next block of games up until the next international break. Well, I'm telling you now, you need 9. You need 9 points. It's as simple as that, because if you go into the 10th game and you've only got, less than 6, you're in real trouble, especially when you think we've played Wolves and Fulham at home. You can almost write the Villa game off. You can write the Arsenal game off. But to not have any points at home from Fulham and Wolves is a disgrace. It's a disgrace. And this Everton team, the lack of composure is astounding. The lack of footballing IQ is astounding. The lack of emphasis on just retaining the ball is astounding. And you can sit there and you can analyse any situation, but Everton's current situation is, I watched a Sheffield United side put up a fight, and their manager is being looked at to be sacked. You've got an Everton manager in charge that I think he's losing the dressing room. I kind of get that sense. I don't know. He's certainly losing more fans. He's definitely losing fans. And I just sit there and think, we've got an owner that I don't think can afford to sack him or do whatever. I think we've got a problem. I think we've got a big problem. There's no clarity on the owners. I just think it's poor. And look, it is what it is. We're in this situation. We're in limbo. Me and John are going to have a big debrief about it tomorrow. But at this moment in time, I'm incredibly disappointed with this football team and this manager, the chairman, in the last 8 years. And Farhad Moshiri was the worst thing that ever happened to this football club. I said 4 years ago, that Farhad Moshiri would be the worst thing that ever happened to this football club. And I was thrown the biggest pelters. I sit there and you just think, hindsight is a wonderful thing, but you could see the signs of this years ago. You could see the signs of this when Sigurdsson, Rooney, Klaassen come in. You could see there was no vision. You could see when they took the pace out of the side, when they take players like Ademola Lookman and treat him like a prisoner, loan him out anywhere and don't give him game time just because he's 17 years old. You see the development of our footballers, our young players, the Ross Barkleys, the Tom Davises, the Luke Garbutt's, the whoever else you want to throw in there, the development of these players who have had opportunities in the first team and have ended up becoming nothing, partly because of the development of Everton Football Club. There is an absolute reason why this club has gone from being okay successfully in terms of the Premier League, lots of European campaigns, etc., to fighting relegation. And every youth team which has gone on and won titles in recent years, 4 or 5 years, they've won titles in their divisions, are now bottom of every league. Everton haven't won in the under-18s. I think they've got 1 point in the under-23s and they've got 1 point in the senior team. None of this couldn't be seen because the whole club has been going slowly down the toilet for the last 8 years, 7 years, and it is abysmal. It is abysmal. We're finished. And people are saying, Michael, you jump into conclusions. It's Arsenal. You know, you wasn't expecting to beat Arsenal. No, but I was probably expecting to already have 7 points by now. You know, I was probably expecting Everton to probably be, I don't know, 14th or 15th in the league. I cannot believe I'm sitting here today. Everton have got 1 point. 1 point. And the only team that I think Everton can beat right now is Luton. Because I think Luton are probably the only team in this division that are categorically worse than us. But we'll test that theory because they're coming to Goodison Park in, 3 weeks? So, yeah, look, it is what it is. The club is finished. Until clarity happens with this investment, we can't move forward. We are, unfortunately, in a ticking time bomb. And the actual only hope that I can see is at some point in this season, we start to win a couple of games. We get some form of new manager bounce if Dyche is sacked. Because the football is horrendous. I actually don't think the players that have been brought into this team suit a Sean Dyche style of football. So you're talking about players who are used to going forward. And I mean players like, you know, Danjuma, Onana, James Garner. These players are technically used to going that way. But instead they're being asked to play this way, in a line. It's not working. It's not working. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I hate football. I hate them. I'm leaving it there. Honestly, I'm leaving it there because do you know what? It frustrates me so much talking about them. It frustrates me so much talking about them, and it annoys me because we look worse than last season, but we probably just about have a better team. I mean, there's not much in it. I mean, last season's team was awful, and so is this one. But when I looked at that 11 today, and then I looked at Calvert-Lewin on the bench, etc., and James Garner, I did think there was a bit more quality, but, mate, we're finished. We're finished. When you've got a manager that's bringing in Schmidt, who did nothing against Doncaster, instead of Lewis Dobbin, who's worked his socks off all pre-season, and the first few games of the season, albeit he's a young lad. I think that speaks volumes. You've got a manager that will take off your number one striker to bring on another number one striker instead of playing both of them together. When you've got nothing to lose, we need points. I don't understand. I wouldn't have been bothered losing 3-0 to Arsenal today. I wouldn't, because you semi-expect it. You know, if we were 0-0 and we were playing, I don't know, anyone, Bournemouth, and we were in the game and we were creating chances, and I'd be like, yeah, I get it, swap. If Beto can't quite get into that position, then yeah, go swap him with DCL. But today, in a game I didn't expect Everton to win, just go for it. Just go for it. He hasn't got that mentality, and that is rattling me. It's absolutely rattling me, as you can see. So, look, I'm leaving it there. There'll be a debrief tomorrow. Me and John will be live or videoing it about, I don't know, 7:30, 8 o'clock, and I'll see you there. Peace.